Loudest venues in the NFL. There's a look at Arrowhead Stadium here in Kansas City. Straight ahead, a rematch from Super Bowl 57. As it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
The Chiefs take over first and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
And they'll run. It's Ken Walker. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It's a loss of 4 on that first play, and it's second down.
And that's exactly what you're looking for, the inside linebacker spot. Versatility. He can drop into coverage, or as he did on that last play, use his speed to get to the perimeter and knock the ball carrier for a loss.
To throw, it's Mahomes. And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up third down.
Third down and 14.
My first thought is surprise, because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
Now on third and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. It's caught at the 10. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Xavier Worthy, 76 yards. And the Chiefs need just 3 plays to go down and take the early lead. Harrison Butker is on for the extra point. And his kick is good to make it 7-0 KC.
Chiefs 7, Eagles nothing.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Philadelphia getting set to take the field.
26-yard line.
Hurts and the Eagles come up here first and 10 at their own 26. Here's a quick throw out to Wilson. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. That's good. The completion there for 7 yards. And it's second down. We'll see what kind of mindset they have here offensively after giving up the touchdown on the opening drive.
And based on our time with them, prior to this game, I feel like they've got a good mindset going in. In fact, the discussion that we had with the coaching staff was, we may give up some points in this game, so our offense has to be ready each and every time to either equal or try and get us ahead and try and keep us ahead. This is their chance to respond to that first touchdown given up.
A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a first and 10. Hurts sets up to throw it. This one complete down the field to Goddard. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Give him 32 on the play.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play. They picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So now first and 10 in Chiefs territory as they're down to the 29-yard line. They go play action with Hurts. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Smith. Nothing on that one. It'll be second down. Well, he caught it right at the line of scrimmage, and before he could even think about advancing it forward, he got hit.
Great tackling, because that's what you're taught. Don't give up yards after the catch, and most offenses make a living off of yards after catch. Those hidden yards that may not go into the score sheet, but they count big for moving the ball and stretching the field. Really nice open field tackle.
Now a flag comes in from the umpire after a gain of about 4. And this looks like it's going to be holding.
All right, so they got that one, Charles, against the center.
And let's remember how difficult it is for the center, because remember, he's got to snap the ball to put the play in motion, and sometimes you got that big guy on your nose. You got sometimes where he's coming at you at an angle. It's a difficult job for him to snap the ball and then execute his block.
From the gun, it's Hurts.
It's complete to Brown, right side. So the completion good for 7 there. And that'll force upon him a 3rd and 14.
It's safe to say the passing game has found a rhythm. He's now 4 of 4, but might need to be 5 of 5 to keep this drive going here as they face a 3rd down.
And maybe perhaps you show a running play, right? Maybe a little play action here to go ahead and let him throw the ball downfield. I wouldn't get away from him flinging it, because 4 for 4 already, I think he's got a good chance of picking this one up here on 3rd down.
Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down. So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal.
This is a 49-yard attempt, right hash. The kick by Elliott is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3.
So both teams come away with points on their opening drives. Now they still trail. They answered the touchdown with a field goal, but at least able to break that goose egg here early.
And that is what's important, right? Because they didn't let that initial touchdown go unanswered. Took the ball themselves, moved it downfield, and put it through the post for 3 points. Game on.
After the field goal, here's Elliott to kick it away.
And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30.
Kansas City taking the field for their 2nd drive.
This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways, because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other. And his play caller does a nice job of giving him an easy throw to start this drive, and he takes advantage of it. The completion sets up a manageable 2nd down.
From the 35, here's 2nd and 3.
Mahomes now to throw. Now a run here off the RPO. He'll keep it. And Mahomes picking up the first as he slides and hits the deck. 5 yards on the scramble, and that's enough to pick up the first.
As he came to the line of scrimmage, he knew he didn't need much to reset the chain, so when he saw the space he needed, no hesitation. He went to the marker and got his guys a 1st down.
They fake the give. Now Mahomes.
An off-balance throw there, and it's going to wind up incomplete.
How about that? Red man coverage, and decided to test them early. But it proved up to the task and forced the incompletion.
Now a 2nd and 10.
Throwing now is Mahomes. And this one incomplete. Too much contact to hold on to that one, and it's 3rd down.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
4th down.
Now that's a good bounce back after giving up a touchdown on the opening drive. Just 1 1st down permitted and then out. Obviously no loss of confidence with that defense, and now they get to turn it back to their offense.
Ariza is on to punt here as he gets this one away.
And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. So back onto the field, here come the Eagles for their 2nd drive. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that. They weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it. Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for second down, staying ahead of schedule.
And he'll scratch out a yard up to the 30, and that's all.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1. On the sneak, it's Hurts. And he is going to have an Eagles first down, at least at first glance, as he'll spot the football just beyond the marker. They find a way to convert on 3rd and inches.
I don't know about you, but I like this call. 3rd and inches, and instead of worrying about getting it back to a running back and maybe there's some penetration from the defensive front, just go ahead and take it, move forward, and pick up the first down.
And as we say often, shows confidence in your offensive line.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Play action. Here's Hurts. On the RPO, he'll keep it himself. Hurts dangerous when he runs that football. He's got a first.
That's an early scramble that can be viewed positively by either side. From the offensive point of view, it begins to establish it as a possibility to keep it on certain plays. And defensively, they avoided giving up a huge play in one of their first tests in containing a quarterback on the run.
They just do get the playoff as he'll look to throw.
Well, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Khyiris Thornton. And the Chiefs are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Here's Walker to start the drive.
And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
Now here's Mahomes. And that's off the mark, incomplete. Charles, he doesn't seem to be particularly in tune with his receivers, just 2 for 7 throwing the football, but he did seem really locked in before the game.
Yeah, and that has to do with receivers sometimes. Sometimes the defenders knock them off their routes, and you're usually pretty precise. 1, 2, 3 cut, balls out of his hands to the receiver. In this case, might be off by a half step either way. They've got to find a way to get back in sync.
Able to find the open man. That's complete.
And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. That's good for 28 yards.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation. Well, you've got a receiver here who's got 1 touchdown already in this first quarter, and they were trying to double his pleasure there, wanting to continue to go to the guys already gotten into the end zone. But good coverage to make sure that this time it fell incomplete.
2nd and 10. Up the middle, here's Walker.
Looking for a seam, but finding none. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
And that's exactly what offenses try to avoid by using motion and throwing different formations up. They hate when he can draw a bead on the play, get a running start, and make a big play behind the line of scrimmage as he did just there.
Mahomes going to throw.
Working the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
The tight end in motion right. Oh, and they sent the man in motion too late. This is going to be a delay.
So a little tardy getting everyone set, and the clock hits 0 before they could snap it.
Yeah, you can take your time and use the clock and try and get set up, but once it gets near 5 seconds, that's when you often hear a quarterback yelling, hurry, hurry, to make sure everybody's ready to get the snap off.
The delay of game backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Here's Mahomes to throw. And he's wrapped up, taken down, back at the 25.
Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. The 1st and goal looked like things were set up nicely, and now all of a sudden on 2nd and goal, Charles, a big challenge ahead of them.
And you have to know when you're this close to the goal line, things are going to happen faster, so you've got to get the ball out quick. Not going to have much time in the pocket before the defenders bring pressure.
Got him in. It's Brown. A good pickup there. 18 yards as they get closer for third down.
A pickup of 18 yards. It's now third down.
An 8-play drive to this point. So here's play number 9 on 3rd and 7. Looking to throw is Mahomes. That is caught by Rice for a Kansas City touchdown. A 7-yard touchdown grab.
And the Chiefs are able to stretch out their lead.
And, partner, they found a gap there on the post pattern, and it was in the middle third of the field.
And that's really difficult to do because ordinarily the safeties are back there to prevent that happening. But they found the opening and exploited it.
Extra point by Butker is on target.
And that pushes the lead up to 11. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away.
And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get this up to the 29. Philadelphia's offense ready to give us another look. So now, Charles, this drive maybe a touch more important, trying to erase the memory of that interception they had the last time out.
Yeah, and everyone goes through this because even the best in the game, you're going to have games where it just doesn't go right for you and interceptions result. So, frankly, to me, it's all about how you respond, not just the types of plays that you call, but how you carry yourself, how you show your team that you're still with it, and how you continue to lead.
Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up 2nd down.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
This short throw caught by Goddard. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a third down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
After one, a 14-3 ball game. Start of the second quarter, and it's the Eagles in possession, as they've got it with a third down coming up. They'll try to run for it with Barkley. So they fly off the tackle, and that effort gives him the first before he's brought down.
It's a gain of 2.
I like this focus there because he wasn't thinking about breaking that one big. All he thought about was, I need one. Let's go get that. Ended up picking up 2.
Throwing is Hurts.
And this one complete to Smith. So just 3 yards on the completion there. And it'll be second down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Now Hurts is going to do it himself.
And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. A nifty bit of scrambling there. 12 yards, first down.
Evident there that he learned his lesson from the last drive. No way he was going to force a throw that time. When nothing broke open, kept it, and ended up running for a first down himself.
Hurts. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
Nice progress down the field was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
Here's 2nd and 10.
A handoff, Barkley running left. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. That good for 19 and a first down. We often give credit to the O-line there. 2 tight end formation. Those tight ends block pretty well also.
Yeah, and that's one of the most dynamic positions in football now. The tight ends who can block at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and they can also get downfield and catch the football.
And he'll get this underneath, dropping it off for Barkley.
And he'll be tackled at the 23 after a gain of 3.
The defense was ready for the back to leak out and even had a second player waiting to double him up. If you're going to commit to doubling a back, you better prevent a completion, but give him credit. Extra determination, extra effort, turn it into a successful play.
Here's Hurts to throw.
And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
He did an okay job of absorbing the hit, just couldn't secure the football through the catch.
And he was right there on the spot and forced the incompletion. That's something defenders work on all the time. If you're there, make the contact, but continue to work your way through the receiver so that you can't possess the football and turn it into a catch.
Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts.
Did he get the feet down? Yes! Touchdown! A.J. Brown. A 22-yard touchdown grab.
And the Eagles have cut it back within a score.
And he just did get those feet in there on the side of the end zone. Well done. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. And he's got it. That cuts the lead. It's now 14-10.
Chiefs 14, Eagles 10.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away.
And he returns this to the 22.
Out now the Chiefs offensive unit ready to do battle again.
So both of these teams, Charles, coming off touchdowns now, but this offense, they just had to stand on the sideline, watch their opponent author a really impressive drive to reach the end zone.
Yeah, and I think you're not telling yourself the truth if you don't think there's some one-upsmanship going on right now, because they just had their touchdown answered by a drive of double-digit plays that also found the end zone. Now they want to do something even more impressive to answer that one.
2 yards the loss, second and 12.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Now Mahomes.
Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Andrew McCulba.
And he'll return it to the 24-yard line.
They'll take over first and 10 at the 24-yard line.
Throw left side complete. That's Smith. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. 19 yards on the pickup there, and now they'll have it first and goal.
It's all pretty simple sometimes, isn't it? Go where the defenders are not, and he does exactly that. Makes a nice catch to move the chains. Defense, got to find a better way of accounting for the shorter routes that are being run again.
Open man, he's got him. That's Smith for the Philadelphia touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown grab. And the Eagles have taken the lead. On those slants, everything happens so quickly. What makes it work?
The timing between the passer and the receiver. In this case, a slant route ordinarily is probably about 3 steps before you go on the slant. In this amount of time, I think it was a 2-step deal. Boom, put his foot in the ground and got inside for the pass.
Got inside for the pass, got inside for the catch and the score. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away.
And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line.
So now here are the Chiefs as their offense makes their way back out onto the field. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up first and 10 at their own 21. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down.
For many teams, the evaluation of tight ends has really changed. We used to wonder about how they would block first and foremost. Now we want to know how these guys can run, because we envision them in offenses catch the ball. How much yardage can they gain after that?
And that on display there for a good pickup. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
Even though they gave up more than they wanted to on that play, it actually illustrates how well they bottled them up throughout the game, because that was his longest run of this contest.
From the 41, here's 2nd and 3. And Walker once more.
And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher 3rd down looming.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Working from the gun, Mahomes. This will be caught by Brown. But he won't quite make it. He needed 6. He got about 5. 4th down.
Well, it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the first down. Now to be 4th and short.
And how about this one now? In their own territory, a gutsy call. They're going to go for this on 4th and a yard.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. A big roll of the dice on 4th and 1, but it pays off. They convert.
And that's a big pickup of a first down. And you know that all week, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, are going through every situation. And in this case, the offensive guys had the right play dialed up because defensively, you work on fourth down situations as well.
And deflating for the defense. They can't get the stop here.
There are not many times where you might say it's a detriment to have a quarterback with a cannon for an arm, but this might be one of those few times. He just laid that one out there a bit too far, and his receiver couldn't run under it.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw, it's Mahomes. Pitch and catch here to Travis Kelce. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 40. Give them 11 yards that time and a new set of downs.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. He'll get it inside the 20. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. And Xavier Worthy with his 2nd touchdown here in this first half. And the Chiefs are able to move back in front.
What a first half he is compiling here. He's already over 100 yards receiving and now 2 touchdowns, CD.
Brandon, you know I don't like to play the game where you start projecting when you're at a certain point. Well, let's face it, he's off to a tremendous start. So 200 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't think anything's out of the question right now. He's blowing up coverages. You've got to double him every snap. Otherwise, he's going to defeat you on almost every play.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. Able to slither by. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Eagles offense back out, getting set for this next drive. And they'll just simply be looking to build off the confidence of the last time out where they scored a touchdown.
And confidence is powerful, isn't it? When you've scored once, you feel like you can go back out there and get it done again. Doesn't matter what the defense throws at them. They feel like they're in a groove right now, and they want to get out there and show it.
Yeah, hoping to stay in that groove here this go-around. And they'll take him down at the 31-yard line. He'll wind up getting right about 4 there on the scramble, and it's 2nd down.
They made a nice effort to stick him with a loss for that play, but it's going to take more than that to keep him from advancing the ball. Should be an entertaining battle anytime he tucks and runs over the second half of this contest.
Off the play fake, here's Hurts.
And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, 3rd down.
I know at times people think we use it too often, but you've got to be able to throw guys open. And when you read zone, you've got to stick it in there before your receiver gets to the next guy in the zone. Otherwise, you bring him into the play.
And that's precisely what allowed that defense to disrupt the pass. And he's going to have the first down at about the 38. Give him 7 on the tuck and run, and it'll get him a new set of downs.
No surprise to see his sideline fired up by that big play. Heck, we're fired up, and we're supposed to be neutral. That's a quarterback putting his body on the line to fight and just barely get the first down. When he does something like that, it gets everyone ready to lay it all out there and try and match his intensity.
On the throw, let him too much that time. It's incomplete.
You've always been very good about checking my math. Am I correct? That's the first time that it's been incomplete when they've thrown it to him?
Yes, he had caught every other ball coming his way.
So they feel like they've got something really good going there, and they're going to continue to go there until the defense makes an adjustment and takes it away.
Well, they finally made an adjustment there. We'll see if they can build on that stop. Up the middle with Barkley. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through, but that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
That could be the stop this defense needed to get them back on track. They've been pretty well dissected by the offense here in the first half. After that possession, now they know that they can compete with this offense.
On fourth down, punt coming from Braden Mann. Back deep for KC, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over.
A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And, partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
Yeah, because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football.
Here's a 2nd and 5 now from the 25.
Straight ahead, Walker.
Only a couple there as he'll be brought down about the 28.
The passing game's been working quite well so far, but the running game's been a little bit of a struggle, and that's a surprise to me. Typically, when you can throw it, you've opened up lanes for your runners.
The offense on 3rd down tonight, they've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This time they face a 3rd and 2. From the gun, it's Mahomes. And he'll be taken down, but he does have first down yardage. When in doubt, do it yourself as he keeps it for 3 and a first down.
Kansas City Chiefs, first down. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line.
Back to throw now on 1st down. He finds his man complete. It's Brown. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. The extra effort after the catch makes it good for a gain of 26 and also a first down.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line.
They'll look to throw here. This will be caught once again by Brown. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. 13 yards as they've got the connection working. His 2nd catch in a row, first down.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
And he'll be out of bounds as he gets this down about the 21 or 22.
Out of bounds at the 22-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup. Brings up 2nd and 2.
So from the 22, here's 2nd and 2.
They'll send the big tight end in motion right. Mahomes to throw once more. Now a run here off the RPO. He'll keep it. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. 8 yards that time, able to take off, and the result is a first down.
First down.
Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. As the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10.
Mahomes now to throw. And he's got it.
And the Chiefs are going to be set up with a 1st and goal on a pass play that moves them all the way down to the 1.
Oh, nice job there putting the ball right in the doorstep of the goal line. Couldn't quite get it to pay dirt, but he got awfully close. Let's see if they can cash it in over the next couple of plays.
A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. He'll look to throw.
A quick throw knocked away and incomplete.
Coaches talk about it all the time. Players talk about it as well. Excellent job staying disciplined in coverage and making that stop. Inside the red zone, every stop like that could be preventing a possible touchdown.
Another shot from the 1 on 2nd and goal. Walker. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Now another timeout called for by the offense as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half.
Big play coming here. It's 3rd and goal. They'll try and run. Walker.
And this time he is in.
Ken Walker.
As the first half is winding down.
And the Chiefs will extend their lead here just before halftime.
And that's certainly an important score right there because they gave themselves a 2-score cushion heading towards halftime. Now you got to force the other team out of their comfort zone, and it changes the way you approach the second half as well. How you want to do things on offense, and your defense feels much better too, having that lead.
17.
So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. Britton Covey going to bring it out of his end zone. And able to get this out to the 25. Well, the Eagles going to get one final possession in this first half. And with 8 seconds on the clock, really not a lot of time to try to put anything together.
Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10. Well, indeed, trying to run it out as they start on the ground. And defensively, they're just looking to keep him contained as they're able to get him down. Time for a break. We've hit halftime. 2 quarters down. 2 still remain. We step aside. This is the NFL on EA Sports. It's the Eagles ready to see the football first, and they trail here as we resume action in this 3rd quarter.
And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the 3rd quarter.
And Charles, some things to like about that first half, ultimately trailing here, but certainly this deficit is manageable. So curious to see what adjustments they may have made at intermission.
As am I, because I think things bode well for a possible comeback, because I thought a lot of their best reps in the first half came through the passing game. They were hitting the open receivers, taking whatever the coverage gave them and making it work well for themselves. Now, they just want to pick up the pace of scoring a little bit. So I expect them to come out and continue to throw the ball effectively.
Speed is the name of the game when it comes to RPOs, and sometimes you can be a little too quick, thus inaccurate, incomplete.
A give to Barkley out of the gun. And this has been a recurring theme tonight for sure. Nowhere to run. Back to the line of scrimmage, that's all. Officially nothing on that one, no gain, so they're left with still 10 to go on 3rd down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Hurts sets up to throw it. He'll try and do this himself.
And he'll be brought down at the 28, and that is well short of the first. He opted to go with a scramble, gets 2 yards, and now it's 4th.
And, partner, I would guess that in his headset he was hearing from his coach, it's 3rd down, don't take a sack. And in this case, he's able to avoid the pressure and get out of there. He doesn't get the first down, but he does turn a possible loss into positive yardage.
So possession goes over here on the punt. And it's Chiefs football, 1st and 10. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half.
Coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive. They'll run with Walker to begin the drive.
And it's been like this all night long. Nowhere to run as they stop him behind the line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
And that's what this defense is going to need to do more in the second half. Good pressure that time, forces some indecision in the backfield. He's going to wind up being taken down for a nice loss.
After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Rice. And down right around the 32-yard line, 4 yards on the pickup.
It's a gain of 4. Makes it 3rd and 7.
Here's 3rd and 7.
Throwing now is Mahomes. That is caught.
And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I'll tell you what, a lot of those mid-range throws have been available because sometimes teams get too concerned about the deep ball and they leave too much space in front of them. And these guys have been taking advantage so far.
Walker now on 1st and 10.
And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
At the 34-yard line.
So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 34. On play action, it's Mahomes.
And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much.
Offense was moving it a little bit, had them back on their heels, but they earned a brief pause by forcing the incompletion. That gives them a quick chance to regroup and try and mount a stand before they're backed up even further.
From the 34, they'll come to the line on 2nd and 10. Now here's Mahomes. Short throw hauled in by Kelce. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
Mahomes going to throw.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I like the call on 3rd and 2. They were geared up to stop the run. I like the fact they just hit them quick. Little slant route. All about timing there, partner.
Yeah, the timing, everything well executed. Here's Mahomes to throw. It's Kelce on the ground. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be left with a 2nd and about a foot.
That's tough to play zone defense when they can just curl up right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talk about finding the soft spot. Defensively, how do you make sure they don't find the soft spot like they did there?
Tough to do because what they normally will do is run routes that'll pull you out of that spot they want to get into. That's what we call not taking the cheese, right? Don't go for the mousetrap. But it's hard to do because when you see a guy cutting that in that direction, you tend to go towards him.
Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
From the gun on 3rd down, Mahomes. And he takes this into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Mahomes hitting his favorite target, Travis Kelce, on the touchdown pass.
And the Chiefs add 6 to their lead. Boy, he has been fun to watch throwing the football in this one. It's certainly not fun for that defense, though, Charles. Now up to 4 touchdown passes in this ball game.
Yeah, we're supposed to be neutral, but I'm feeling their pain right now because he has absolutely carved up this secondary. A clinic on how to attack the defense and take them out of the game.
17.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Eagles set and ready for their next offensive drive. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point. It has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the... In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
And he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage.
George Karlaftis, the man to bring him down.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
From the gun, it's Hurts.
And the Chiefs are going to get him. It's a loss of a yard, so they'll wind up crediting him with a sack, and it brings up 3rd down.
It seemed like he kept going through those progressions, and I thought he might dump that underneath, but he couldn't get rid of the football in time.
And I have to wonder if he was thinking while he was back there, I wish there were a lot less progressions on this play, just someone that I can dump the ball to and get it out of my hands.
They'll set up the screen to Barkley. And a good job on the tackle there as they get him down shy of the first on the 35-yard strike. They do get 7 out of that, but not enough to prevent a 4th down.
And that's a play that's not uncommon on 3rd and long because the offense is just hoping that somehow they can get a guy in space and follow some blockers downfield. Does a pretty nice job there getting a few yards, but he ends up getting stopped before he can get the first down.
Fair catch called. It's taken in right at the 20-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their own 21. Mahomes quickly complete out wide. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 12 yards that time for number 12 as they move the chains.
This offensive game plan has just been sensational. I mean, when you think about all the different ways they've gotten their receivers open so far, it's really been impressive. Scheme, design, execution.
Looking to throw is Mahomes. Complete, the tight end Kelce. And brought down, but not before reaching the 45-yard line. It's a pickup of 12. Second play in a row with a 12-yard gain.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the 3rd quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
And they just did not get the snap away in time.
Well, you got to think, Charles, that one's on the quarterback as everybody was up at the line of scrimmage. He just didn't call for the snap in time.
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit better awareness out there because you got to know when the clock's in single digits and either snap it or get a timeout called if you have one.
So a little bit of a stiffer challenge now. 1st and 15 following the delay of game. Back to throw here.
And that'll be off the mark, too far out in front, and it's incomplete.
Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the 3rd quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
Now Mahomes.
Setting up the screen here. This is Walker.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
And the Eagles with a dime look. 6 DBs on 3rd down. In motion, the tight end Kelce. Working from the gun, Mahomes.
Pass taken in by his big tight end.
And he has another first down as he'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 40. The drive stays intact with a pickup of 13.
We often hear the phrase sure-handed tight ends, and he certainly fits into that category. Plus, he's got a quarterback who knows to look his way when they need a big pickup. And on this play, he finds him for the first down.
No hesitations, they go right back to Kelce.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down.
What a drive this has been, just chewing up the yardage. And here's one of their best plays yet as they finally get down into the red zone and look to finish this off with 6.
He's going to be sacked back at the 23-yard line.
That's big Jordan Davis powering in to drop him.
And it's never good to take a sack. You really don't want to take one down here in this part of the field down near the red zone.
Not at all, because you're already pretty much assured of a field goal. But you take a big sack, it could push you out of range, and that's why defenses get a little more aggressive in this situation. They're almost conceding the 3 points. They want to push you back and try and take you out of that.
This will be caught inside the 10. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. Now they'll have it first and goal following that gain of 17.
With that last completion, CD's now over 400 yards passing in the game, and quite a few of those have come via some pretty big strikes downfield. Certainly not afraid to challenge this secondary, and it's been successful.
I like your observation there, partner, because I agree. This is a group more than capable of torching a secondary any week, as evidenced by their combined stat line here. And in the time we have remaining, wouldn't shock me at all to see them take another deep shot. Oh, partner, just a second earlier, and they might have had him because they certainly thought they were going to close in and drop him behind the line of scrimmage, but he had just enough time to dodge the pressure, and he ends up getting yardage before being stopped.
Looking middle, and that's complete. Only 3 yards there on the completion. That'll lead to a 3rd and goal. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we've played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. We're back now in KC. It's the Chiefs with the lead and the football here as we get set for quarter number 4. Now they send a running back in motion right. Here's Mahomes, 3rd and goal. And Brown's got it. Touchdown, Kansas City. 2 yards on the touchdown there. And the Chiefs are able to add on to that lead.
And you wonder now if he might be able to remove the helmet, put on the baseball cap, and watch the rest of this one from the sideline. His 5th touchdown pass of the game.
Say that again. Did you say 5th touchdown pass of the game?
Yes, sir.
But that's a heck of a performance, isn't it? Because they've got no answer for him at all game long. Receivers have been open constantly, and he hasn't missed a single one of them.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away.
And the tackle going to be made right there at the 25-yard line.
Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession.
Well, this game, it has had no shortage of offense. They've been able to put up a decent amount of points on this side, Charles. They just have not been able to keep pace with the other offense they're going against here.
Yeah, it's a good way of pointing things out because now it's not a total loss because, as you said, they've scored some points, so there's some plays they can build on, moments where the game plan actually works. But overall, though, They were just out personnel. They were going up against a team that's playing at an elite level.
Well, he's had success running the football in this one. Yeah, that's undeniable. But that time, the defense was on to it.
And, partner, I think the more you see a play like this, the more they're able to diagnose it quicker and easier for them to defend it. I think you have to dress it up a little bit and show maybe some different formations and looks.
And they're able to get this one across the 35.
43 yards rushing for him now on what was his 10th carry of the ball game.
Probably wishing that they could have had a few runs like that earlier in the game, now facing this deficit in the fourth.
Hard to criticize a run of that magnitude, but they really need those types of runs to go the distance and need bigger plays to try and get back into this one.
They keep it with Barkley on first down. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
Second and a couple.
Again, it's Barkley. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
Here's Hurts to throw. He'll try to pick it up himself.
He's got this to the 30 before being taken down. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
Bottom line is that he is just something else as a runner because there are not many QBs in this league who can rip off a game that big, and he did it with the defense giving him a little extra attention after he hit him on a run earlier this series.
Throwing is Hurts.
This will be caught by Brown.
At the 28-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and 8.
Second down, 8 to go from the 28. Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts.
Caught by Wilson. So the completion good for 6 yards. And now 2 yards to go on third down. You got the big lead defensively, willing to give them that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle them after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
Hurts.
Now they go screen. It's complete. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
And when you have success throwing the football, the old cliche becomes true. The playbook opens up wide, and these screen passes, they become even more difficult to stop.
So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. And he'll take this from the 9 down to about the 7. Defensively, pretty good start there with their backs against the wall.
That's a win for the stop troops right there. And if I'm them, I get a little bolder now. They won the first battle. Keep coming after them. Put the pressure on them.
2 of their 3 red zone trips so far they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. Another try for Barkley. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a yard there, and that'll bring us to 3rd and goal.
I have to laugh a little bit because he actually handed it off. I thought with the 2 touchdown passes he's thrown in this one already, he'd go ahead and fling and try and get a 3rd one.
Yeah, now from this spot on 3rd down, I think he'd probably throw it here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. They won't even send in a running play here, I don't believe. I think they go ahead and try and throw it for a touchdown.
And that's going to be caught for an Eagles touchdown.
Jalen Hurts finding A.J. Brown. And the Eagles are able to cut into that deficit. He's got them out now to a 3-score lead here in the 4th quarter after that one, CD. And, well, he looked right off the line like he knew that that ball was coming his way, and he secured it for 6 points.
Yeah, and I think when you're leading by a healthy margin already,
it actually loosens you up and allows you to take maybe a few more chances and definitely play with more confidence, because he certainly saw something he could exploit in the defense, and he made sure to let his quarterback know, just get it to me. And the rest was all up to him, and he delivered and made it a 3-score game.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
The Chiefs offense now making their way back onto the field.
Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate, but we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
And incomplete, a drop there in the middle third of the field. That'll bring up second down.
The incompletion there stops the clock. Any surprise they're throwing here late?
Ordinarily, yes, because you would think enough is enough. They've got plenty of lead, but I've seen this a bunch of times as well. The defense is going to crowd the line of scrimmage. If you just hand it off inside, you're getting your running back popped a lot as well. Sometimes the defense dictates it. If they're going to crowd it, you may have no other choice but to throw it downfield.
27 yards there, a first down.
The passing game continues to be their friend. Even with a stable lead here in the fourth, Charles, they're going back to that well.
Yeah, with their overall philosophy, you know that they trust their quarterback. He's been able to throw it well. If they continue to throw these safe passes, who can blame him?
And he gets forward up the middle, but only for a couple. It'll be second down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 26. 15 yards there on the catch and run.
Well, normally you might say start running the football. You've got the lead here in the fourth quarter, but the way that they've passed it with such success, I don't know, maybe keep throwing it.
Yeah, I think you brought up something that goes against conventional wisdom, right? In this stage of the game, you would think you would switch to a running attack, but you're exactly right. They've thrown it so well throughout the game, and trusting this quarterback, I think he continue to do so.
Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Well, we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot. He had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
And a short gain here down to the 22. 2 yards on the first down carry and then followed up by 2 yards on the second down carry.
Well, that's definitely not going to be enough to get the job done. Wasn't the expression 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Now they're going to need 6 on third down to keep the drive going. To throw, it's Mahomes.
Now he's going to step up and run.
And he doesn't quite make it, taking it within an eyelash. Dropped at the 1. Able to find a lot of empty space there, picking up the first down and a 21-yard gain.
Brandon, that's a gamer move right there. Facing third down, steps up, calls his own number, and nearly makes the house call. If I'm the coach, I let him take another one right here.
And he's going to take it into the end zone for a Chiefs touchdown. Kenneth Walker with his second touchdown of the night.
And the Chiefs are able to widen their advantage.
Sometimes offenses can get too cute down near the goal line, but there's nothing fancy about this one. As Coach Lombardi would say, we get a seal here, and we get a seal here, and we run this play in the alley. And that's good work to hit the hole hard and finish in the end zone.
49, Eagles 24. Harrison Butker.
Now after the
kickoff for
touchdown,
Kansas City.
here's Butker on to kick it away. Well, now how about this return? He's to midfield. And he'll return this one all the way onto the other side of the field. Philadelphia getting set to take the field.
Chiefs 46-yard line.
A first down carry for Barkley. And they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Absolutely love the effort there. The ability to flow from his inside spot and stop that one at the line of scrimmage. Nice linebacker play.
2nd and 9 from the 44.
Now back to throw. Catch made right side by Wilson. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection.
Hurts sets up to throw it. Now throw right side here, going to be incomplete.
Now, defensively, you look at the numbers. Another incomplete pass we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job on that side of the ball.
Yeah, recently I was actually working a game where a quarterback had a streak of 5 straight games without a 200-yard game, and that was a big talk both in his town and amongst his team. How do we get the passing game going? So big credit to them holding them under 200 today.
9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
With a quick throw, complete. And he's going to have an Eagles first down by a couple of yards as they're able to convert there on 3rd and 1.
That time the conversion comes courtesy of the RPO.
And know what it did? It moved the sticks. Nice pickup on 3rd down. Even better decision.
Out of the shotgun, they run with Barkley.
Brought down at the 20.
Sometimes you're aligned perfectly and the play comes to you, and sometimes you got to cover some ground to go make the play as we just saw there.
We saw a great example of perseverance right there on that play.
Got to be careful. They might want to throw one over his head as this game progresses.
Here's a 2nd and 8.
They'll look to throw.
Now Hurts is going to do it himself.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
More than one defender there, and that's a loss of 5 on the sack.
But one thing I do know, these guys on defense, they don't want this game to end. They're winning by multiple touchdowns. They've shut down the opposing quarterback in a big way, and they're still picking up sacks as we approach the end of this one.
So after that sack, Hurts and the Eagles, tough spot here, 3rd and long.
They'll set up to throw.
And that will be incomplete. Oh, he left that one in a bad spot, but fortunately it's just an incompletion and not picked to bring up 4th down.
Well, these guys are not going to go out with their tails between their legs. They're going to keep taking their shots until the clock's at 000. But that one, like a lot of others, winds up incomplete.
They're going on 4th down with Hurts.
That's to his running back, complete. But they're going to wrap him up as he'll go down well short of a first. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and that will force a turnover on downs. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll work this forward for about 3 at second down.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
Second and 6.
The partner under the lights in primetime, this offense, they gave the nation quite a show, putting up that many points to come away with what will certainly be a memorable win for them.
And, Brandon, I think it's as simple as this. Some players, some teams, they're just meant for the big stage. And when they get a chance to play in this type of atmosphere, where all eyes are on them and all the lights are shining brightly, they show up and they show out.
So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. The Chiefs victorious here as we say so long from Arrowhead.